the most important thing to carry is your documents. So you can actually buy paracetamol in the shops, you can buy Panadol in the shops, you can buy ibuprofen in the. When you actually want to bring your food, make sure to put them in a Ziploc bag. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to another video. If you're stopping by for the first time, hi, you're welcome. So in this video I'm going to be talking about the essential things that you need to carry with you when you are moving to the United Kingdom as a student, as a skilled worker, as a dependent. Everything I'm going to be saying in this video is going to be based off of my experience, my mistakes that I made, what I did. I'm just going to be talking based on my perspective, but all in all, I feel like everything that I'm going to be listing in this video, they're quite important, and I'm going to be opposing some of the very popular notions out there, because I came here and I realized a couple of things. So I think you want to watch this video to the end because you don't want to miss anything. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get going. If you have not subscribed yet to this channel, you can just keep on watching. If at the end of this video you found out that you loved the video, you learned something, you can give me a thumbs up, and also you can subscribe to join my family. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the video. As before we properly start listing out what you should bring and what you shouldn't bring, it is important that you carefully and mentally organize yourself in terms of what you're going to bring, because you're going to be flying and you do not want to pay for extra luggage, because at the end of the day it may actually not be worth it paying for extra luggage. Most flights have their luggage allowance, so whatever flight you booked, be sure to check it and be sure to confirm the kg, the weight that you're actually allowed to carry as a traveler. But I just want to say this thing. I used Cutlery when I was coming, and we had this students package, so I registered. I had I needed to prove that I was actually coming as a student with my visa, my admission letter, and some other documents. So you can just check, if you're flying Qatar, try to check that up. And if you actually registered in the student club, then instead of bringing two baggages of 25 kg, you're actually permitted to bring 3. Or if you bring 2, you can have I think 10 or 5 kg extra. I am not sure, but try to find out. And also it might have changed from when I traveled to now. I just wanted to actually put that information out there, so you know that you have extra baggage allowance as a student. But be sure to actually register on that club and check for the requirements and the things you need to photocopy. And also, I don't know about other flights, but other airlines might also have student discounts and things, extra allowances for students. Also, it's very important that you try to confirm from your airline the amount of baggage that you need to carry, okay, before traveling. And also, if you can get a scale, it might not be precise, but just to have an idea of how many kgs that you're actually carrying, so that you don't get to the airport and become destabilized and don't know what to do, because your baggage is way out of hand. But it would be nice if you can get a kind of scale that you can just use to approximate what you're carrying, so that you don't have to get to the airport and start removing everything, because at that point you might remove what you actually need. So now let's get into the things that you should look to carry whenever you're coming. So guys, the very first thing on my list is bring your clothes. Like I said, I am going to be opposing some of the very popular notions out there. I know there are so many videos that says, or so many people that say, you don't need to bring your clothes. Don't bring clothes because there are clothes here. You can buy whatever dress you want here. There's a weather change here, so you will not be able to use your clothes from Nigeria, and all of that. While I'm not saying they are lying, I'm not saying what they're saying is false. It's actually true. Most of the clothes or most of the outfits you wear in Nigeria, you might not be able to use them when you land, especially if you come during winter, because the weather is really cold. But then again, summer is going to come, and if you left all your summer wears in Nigeria or wherever country you're coming from, if you come over here during summer you literally have nothing to wear, and then you have to start buying. Now when I say bring clothes, I'm not saying that you should bring all your wardrobe, okay? But I would say that you should actually bring a couple of your outfits, okay? Like bring your round neck, bring your jeans, especially, like regardless of whatever the weather is here. Most times you find out that in countries like this you end up wearing jeans almost every time, to church, to work, to school. Like jeans are very easy to go. So even if you don't have jeans, buy good jeans, jean trousers, bring them, okay? Bring your regular church wears. Like, you, of course, do not bring all the clothes you have. You know, you can actually give out some to friends, to family and stuff like that. Well, don't come with the notion that you don't need to bring anywhere. For me, I actually brought some of my clothes, and you know, when I came in, I actually, even during the winter, I had some clothes that I was able to wear, like my jean trousers, cargo trousers, some thick clothes, even though I had to like cover up and cover up, but then they were able to serve me. And now that this is summertime, all the clothes I had that I brought from Nigeria, I'm able to use them now without necessarily having to spend money to buy and change my wardrobe now. So like I said, bring your clothes, also bring your shoes. The kind of shoes you should be looking to bring basically are your like sneakers, basically, because here there are more of sneakers than even, you know, corporate shoes. So if you have sneakers, you can bring. If you have you know, jean trousers, whatever it is like you have, bring a good amount of them. Now do not fill all your box with clothes, but bring clothes so that you don't get stranded here. I hope I made sense on that particular point. So guys, the second thing on my list is food. Most people, when they're actually moving abroad, 60 to 75% of their luggage is actually food. And yes, it is actually wise, but this is my own opinion on bringing food. Okay, it's important, try to bring whatever food you want to bring, if you know, that are not liquid, because I think liquid is not really allowed. Things like palm oil, you know, some liquid items are actually not allowed. Now when you actually want to bring your food, make sure to put them in a Ziploc bag. So Ziploc bags are like these transparent bags that, you know, you'll be able to put whatever you're doing, so that, you know, when they're inside your box and they're trying to scan your box, it doesn't look suspicious, okay? It's transparent, so the reader will be able to see that, okay, this is actually a food item. And also you can also try to label it if you have a lot of stuff, so that you don't mistake one for the other. So that's one tip. Put them in Ziploc bags so that you will not have problem at the airport. Because if you tie them in like maybe black nylons and stuff while you're passing the immigration, they might not be able to recognize it, and you might have to like bring it out, open it, and all those kind of things, which you don't want. You don't want a chaotic travel, because traveling on its own is chaotic, so you don't want anything that's going to increase like chaos. So yeah, personally I feel like whatever food, most of the food that you're going to actually be bringing from where you're coming to wherever country you're going, you actually find it there. We have African stores all around where you'll be able to buy whatever, like shaki, egusi, whatever it is that you're looking for. You most likely be able to find them in African stores. But of course, African stores are quite expensive because they are imported goods, so of course they're going to be a bit expensive, and you might not want to start buying those things immediately you come. So that is why it's also important to try to bring as like food stuff. But I don't think you have to pack your whole farm because you're moving. Okay, you can just bring what will be okay for you for the next 1-2 months. And there's some food stuff that you actually do not need to bring, like rice is pretty cheap here. You can buy rice as as low as £1. Before it was even less than £1, but now it's like £1. You can also buy spaghetti is also like really cheap here. We have spaghetti of like 40 something pence, so spaghetti is really cheap, so you do not need to bring stuff like that here. You can get things like sardine is actually really cheap. Tomato paste is also cheap, but you can still bring some of all these things in very little quantity for maybe your first 2 weeks before you actually settle down and start locating the stores and start going out to buy, some things. So we have sardines here cheap, bread is here, bread is really cheap. Of course, you're not even going to relocate with bread. I think most of the things people try to relocate, travel with things like egusi, because I mean it might be a bit expensive, not that expensive, but it's okay if you actually can bring some of those things like egusi, ogbono, dried pepper. What are the popular foods? Beans, yeah, because beans is kind of, it's kind of expensive, not that expensive, but yeah, it's kind of expensive. What other food? You can bring your locust beans, you can bring your crayfish. Yeah, crayfish is actually a good thing to bring if you're coming. If you can dry fish and bring it, if you're bringing locust beans, try to also dry it. Anything that is wet, it's important you try to dry it before you come. You can bring your dried pomo. You can just bring like whatever food you like. Different people have different like food that they like and they can do without. Then in terms of provisions, you can also bring like provisions like some biscuits, just little quantities that is going to last. You can also bring your powdered, I think you can bring your powdered milk and all of that. So but be careful while you're buying food stuff to bring, so that you do not like bring excess. It can never be excess, because of course it's not like it will waste. But by the time you realize that, oh, when you come, you see that you can actually easily get this thing, then you would have seen some really, really important things that you should have carried that you should not, because of the fear of you will not find whatever here. Okay, so that's that on food. It's based on your discretion, but just try to be wise and smart about bringing whatever food you want to bring. The third thing is going to be your books and your stationaries. Like I said, if you're coming as a student, of course you're coming here to study, regardless of whatever, like you're here for school, so of course you're going to be needing books, and you might not want to buy books here when you just come, when you can buy them from where you come. But don't bring don't bring so many books. You can just bring 1 or 2 notebooks, like maybe the long notes that you use for your first term, like in class, because most times you write, but you might not need to write so much, but you need to bring at least your books, you need to bring pens, you need to bring, like, even if it's 1 or 2 pencils, ruler, eraser, stationaries that you'll be needing, even though you can get them here. But like I said, most times when you come, you might not want to really be spending some of your money on those kind of things, because you just moved to a new place, you might not even know where to buy them for a cheap price. Because I remember when I came here, I brought book myself, but there was a friend of mine who did not, so we had to buy book. At that time, I thought the only place you could buy books was a post office, so we went to the post office and she bought just a very small book for about £5. It was now later, like after 3 months, like we've already like settled, we now found a bookshop where you can actually buy a book for £1. So one thing about moving, why people advise you bring things, is because initially you might not know the best place to buy some of all these things. You might actually buy them for like way expensive prices because you're just new in town. The next thing I'll be talking about is your hair. Like as a girl, your hair, your wigs, your attachments, your hair products, your shampoo. No, in my opinion, you don't need to bring shampoo, because shampoo is like really cheap here. Your wigs, your attachments, and whatever you will use to do your hair. And also guys, I don't know if guys also have like hair products that they have too, so you can bring all those things, because most of all these things, they're African produce and you will get to buy them in African stores. And when you have to go to African store, know that you're going to spend quite some cash, because African things are imported, so hence the price being more expensive. So you can also bring, but of course that does not mean you should pack all. It depends on you, really, your discretion. But as for me, I just brought what was going to last me for the next 2 times I make my hair, and I brought my wigs, and that's it. I know that it is inevitable at some point I might still have to buy all these things here, but even though I need to buy them, they will be much later when I'm like fully settled and I have like a lot of cash to spare to buy like hair products. The next thing I'll be talking about is your bed sheets. So I feel like this is something that is easy to miss out, but it's important. Even if it's one bed sheet that you bring your bed sheets at least that you use for your first few weeks before you get a new one. Bring your bed sheets, bring your pillowcase. Of course, don't bring those big ones. There's no need. Don't no need for bringing duvet, because most time, even whatever duvet you use in Nigeria, you might actually not be able to use them here. Like, it might be too cold for, the Nigerian blanket. You don't need to bring blankets, but if you have space, you can. I brought my like one blanket. Like, this is not a lot, but yeah. So you can bring your bed sheet. You should bring bed sheets, and even if it's one set, one bed sheet and one pillowcase. You should also bring your toiletries. I mean, you don't want to come and the next day after arriving, that's when you're looking to buy toothpaste. So you bring your toiletries, like your toothpaste, your toilet roll, you bring toothbrush, sponge, soap. Even if it's just like one, that will last you like a month or two. And then eventually, it's inevitable, you have to buy these things. Luckily, of course, you don't need to buy stuff like toiletries in African stores, because they sell it in British stores. So, £1, £2 each for most of all these things. They don't really cost more than £2, and you'll be able to get them like when you're like fully settled in. So you should also bring your toiletries. Now, another thing that I think you shouldn't bring, a lot of people advise that when you're coming, bring all your medications, bring paracetamol, bring this, there is no Panadol here, blah 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 blah. There, you can actually buy paracetamol in the shops, you can buy Panadol in the shops, you can buy ibuprofen in the shops. You don't need a prescription for all these day-to-day drugs like paracetamol, ibuprofen, maybe vitamin C's. They are on the counter. You can buy them in Tesco, you can buy them in Lidl. They are everywhere. Okay, the drugs that you're not going to be able to have random access to are maybe drugs that are supposed to be prescribed, maybe for one ailment or the other. So at that time, if you want to get those drugs, you need a doctor's prescription. So if you're on any special medication, like you have a condition that you're actually treating, and you have your drugs for them, then you can bring those drugs. But the regular, like just looking out for yourself drugs, there's no need to bring them, because you're going to be able to buy them here. You're going to be able to buy strepsils for your sore throat. You're going to be able to buy those basic drugs here at the shops, like at random supermarkets. They sell random prescription. Then people say you can bring your malaria drugs in case you had malaria and it didn't show until like you arrived here. Yeah, you can bring maybe one, but you don't need to pack malaria drugs, because there's literally no malaria here, there's no mosquitoes, so you don't need tons of malaria drugs. You can bring one, just one or two. You don't need to fill your bag with all those stuff. Next thing I'm going to be talking about is your cutlery. So yes, it's important to bring. You can, or you can choose to, or you might, or you might not. Personally, I don't think I brought any cutlery. I didn't bring any. If I brought anything, maybe it was just a bottle, like water bottle. But aside that, I don't think I really brought any cutlery. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea if you bring. But of course, whatever you're bringing should be like something small, plastic, a rubber spoon, or a cup, depending on where you're going to, because you might not have access to these things, and you might need to like make provisions to eat. And even if it's just cornflakes or cereals, so you can bring maybe a small bowl plate and a spoon, just something plastic. Another thing that I'll be talking about is underwear. You should actually bring your underwear. You can buy underwears in Nigeria. Not, of course, when I'm saying all these things, bear in mind that you have only a limited allowance that you can actually carry. So while you want to bring things like underwear or whatever it is you want to bring them in small quantities, okay? Like, because you might not want to buy underwear when you come, when you see, because we are fond of doing this thing, especially in our first few months. When we come and want to buy something, we'll convert it to naira, we'll multiply it by, like, so you'll be like, how can I buy this for maybe 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, something that if you were in Nigeria, you'd have bought it for maybe 500, 600, 700. So yes, initially everybody especially if you're not earning pounds and you're spending your naira, some people actually leave their underwears, like, and with the mindset that they will come here to buy just like clothes. So you should actually bring a little that you would use. Then we have some things that will say miscellaneous. I'll call them miscellaneous. Things like needle and thread. You might have a tear in your clothes, and you might not it's not like Nigeria where you can just easily go to the next tailor shop and they will help you mend it. Okay, so you can just bring needle and thread for like little minor clothing errors. You can also bring things like, if you have a picture that you like, you can bring stuff like that. You should try to bring razor blade. I didn't get razor blade personally, and I wish I did, because razor blades, I noticed that they don't actually sell those our kind of razor blades here. So if you want to buy it, you need to buy it in African store. So even if you buy like a pack of razor blades, it's not going to be bad. The most important thing to carry is your documents. Okay, of course, when you're coming, you know that your passport, you must not leave your passport at home, because you might miss your flight if you realize late. If you're a student, your admission letters should be handy in an envelope, in your hand luggage to be precise, because when you get to immigration, you might need to show one or two documents. They might need to ask you for proof of whatever. So most of especially the documents you use to apply for your visa, if you're a student, your admission letter, if you're a skilled worker, your maybe your employment letter, whatever, your cars, all those things, try to bring them and have them handy in your hand luggage. These ones should be in your hand luggage. Okay, they shouldn't be in your box, because you might actually need them. Don't forget any of your documents. Those are even the most important things, because those are what actually carried you from your own country to another country. Okay, every other thing is just additional. Your documents should be very well handy. Then as a Christian, bring your Bible. I think I forgot my Bible, but luckily I attended the program and they gave us for free. They gave us Bible. I don't even know how I forgot my Bible. I'm so surprised. So you should bring your Bible, or you might have plans to also buy a Bible here, or if you're a Muslim, your Quran. Yeah, you can bring things like office pins and miscellaneous. I'll put every other thing as a miscellaneous. Things that I might need, you might not need them, but I feel like with this list you are kind of covered as to like the basic necessities of the things that you need to survive when you come. Try to make a list, so that while you're shopping or you're getting the things you want to get, you don't run out of time, and you don't forget anything. These things are really important, okay, so that you have a smooth one first and second month when you arrive here. I hope that this video was actually like a good one for you. I hope you were able to learn. I hope you were able to make a list from this video. If you did, please give a thumbs up, so that other people can also see the video and watch it, and learn one or two just like you've learned. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Without further ado, I'm bringing this video to an end. If there's any other topic you want me to touch on, please try to drop a comment on your question, and I'll try to make a video on that, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.